Do you want to know how to become what narcissists fear the most? By the end of this video, I'm going to give you 9 ways to crush the narcissist and become what they fear the most, so stay tuned. Hi, I'm Rebecca Zung. I'm an attorney, I'm an author, and I am a narcissist negotiation expert. What I do here on this channel is I give you tips and tricks on how to shift the dynamics so that you can actually turn the tables on narcissists and negotiate with them in a way that allows you to come out unscathed and actually feel respected and set yourself up so that nothing and no one can ever infringe on that ever again. And if that sounds like what you want, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. All right, so let's talk about what narcissists fear the most. Okay, so there are a lot of things that narcissists fear, and really what it comes down to is what they don't want you to know. So let's talk about the psychology of a narcissist. And when you are negotiating with them, it's really, really important to understand who it is that you're dealing with so that you can understand what motivates them. Really, what it comes down to is understanding what motivates them, understanding how to get them to shift so that you can understand how to create a strategy, so that you can understand how to create leverage. That's my whole SLAY strategy, right? Which is strategy, leverage, anticipating, and focusing on you, your case, and your position. And that's my whole SLAY methodology. And so when you're dealing with a narcissist, you have to understand that you're dealing with a person who has very little sense of self. They're actually very afraid people. They're worried that if they give anything that they're going to not have enough for themselves. It's scarcity mentality at its most extreme. Okay, they're like the hollow chocolate Easter bunnies. They look good on the outside, but there's nothing going on the inside. And the only thing that motivates them is this sense of narcissistic supply, that that they want this external validation. That's the only thing that motivates them. So what do they not want you to know? What do they fear the most? Well, number one, that they fear you more than you fear them. Okay. I mean, they're actually way more afraid of you than you are of them. And, it's like the wizard behind the curtain in the Wizard of Oz. They're like scared. And they put this big, huge thing up like the Wizard of Oz is, like, the all great and powerful. But the truth of the matter is, they're way more afraid of you than you are of them. Right. So that's number one. Number two is they are truly the most scared little creatures on the planet. And that's why they do all the things that they do. I mean, I did a mediation with one of the most malignant narcissists ever. And he came crashing into the mediation and immediately started making unreasonable demands. Like there were these dogs that had been at his house, and the adult daughter had come over to the house and had taken the dogs. It wasn't even the wife that had taken the dogs. I was representing the wife. She didn't have the dogs. He starts off 8:00 in the morning. I want the dogs back. She doesn't have the dogs. I'm not mediating. I'm not doing anything until you have the dog. He doesn't want the dogs. He just wants to make a statement. He wants to demonstrate that he has control because he's afraid. Because he was afraid that this process was going to be a scary process for him. People who are not afraid, they don't do things like that. They don't act that way. So number two, they are the most scared little creatures on the planet. They really are. All right. Number three, it's what I've been saying. They have no sense of self. They're not standing in their power. They don't have that inner sense of feeling whole and complete, like that oak tree that just stands, that just moves with the wind, but really stays rooted and grounded. I mean, it's like if somebody calls you a name or whatever, and if you know that that's not what you are, it just bounces off of you. But they take it all on because they have no sense of self, and so all of their sense of anything of themselves comes from that external, comes from that sense of narcissistic supply. And that's how you create that leverage, because that's what exposes them. Right. And then that leads me to number 4. Number 4 is what they fear the most: being exposed. And that's how you build leverage, by the way, is around exposing them. And I have a lot more of this in my video, by the way, called The One Secret That the Narcissist Never Wants You to Know, which you should definitely check out. But they definitely do not want to be exposed. All right. Number 5. What's another thing that they fear the most? That you're going to fight back. That's why they say things like, oh, I'm going to take you down and I'm going to do this to you and this is what's going to happen. And because they're afraid that you're actually going to do it. They are scared to death that you're actually going to fight back. Because if you do, they actually get unbalanced. They don't want you to fight back. Believe me, they don't. Number 6, they don't want you to not need them. They want you to need them. They want to be in control of you. Oh my goodness. I had a case one time where my client was divorcing his wife, but his mother was actually in control of the entire family. It was an Italian family, and the custody evaluator actually referred to her as like the godmother, sort of like the godfather, but she was like the godmother, where she controlled the entire family through the money and the power and all of that. And the fact that my client was successful in his own right and wanted to break away from the family was the cardinal sin. And the custody evaluator actually put that in the custody evaluation. Like, he no longer needed her. And she was a malignant narcissist. So that was one of the things that happened. Like, she didn't want him to not need her. So, number 7, one of the worst fears that they have, honestly, is that you no longer think that they're relevant. Think about some of the politicians, I mean, or some of the celebrities out there. I mean, they'll do anything to stay relevant sometimes, right? I mean, anything to stay in the news, anything to stay, like you've seen, them do crazy things just to stay on the front page, just to have reporters talking about them, because they want to stay relevant. They want to stay current. They want people to be noticing them. So that's number 7. Number 8 is that you no longer think that they matter. And number 9 is similar, which is that you've completely moved on. I mean, that is really what they fear the most. I mean, that's what really crushes them, is when you completely wipe them from the CPU of your life. That's the way I look at it, is like your life is a computer program and you've been able to go in and just go, oh, here they are, here they are, here they are, wipe, 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 wipe. You never existed in my life. Who are you again? What's your name? Like, where somebody can actually say their name and you feel nothing. I mean, some of the best emails and messages that we get on my team are the ones where people say, I did your program, I got the results that I wanted, and wow, the surprising result that I had is that my fear has disappeared. I am no longer afraid of this person. And if you are so ready to feel that you are no longer afraid of this person or whoever it is, or any narcissist, Give me an I'm ready in the comments right now, because that's what they fear the most. You're not afraid of them anymore. You just moved on. You're not moved by them. You're not intimidated by them. They're just a gnat flying around, you know? And really, that's the best thing for you too, by the way, because when you can get to that point, when you can get to the point where you have overcome everything that you needed to overcome with any kind of a toxic personality in your life, whether it's in your business life or your personal life, and you've gotten to a point where you've been able to not feel intimidated when you walk into a room, where you feel powerful and persuasive and you feel whole and complete, and you feel like you are living into the person that you're meant to be, that you're meant to be here. That's living into your power. That's being who you're truly meant to be. You are a person, a soul who is having a human experience, who was meant to be here, who's meant to shine. You're not meant to be small. And that is when you are truly free. And that is what the narcissist fears the most, that you're living in your power and truly free. Okay. So if you like this video, give it a like, give it a share, drop me a comment. And if you feel so moved, subscribe and hit that notification bell. You are certainly welcome to download my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet at winmynegotiation.com, and also join my free private Facebook group, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. And as always, I tell you, today is the perfect day to start negotiating your best life. Please don't wait any longer. Start now. Life is way too short. You never know how much time you have. All right. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.